And so there can be all sorts of situations in which you find that people come up to you and are triggered around their sense of grief and loss. And how do we take care of them? And how do we look after them in the professional setting?
Welcome to So You Want to Be. Today we're talking loss and grief. There's so many people that work in loss and grief right across our community today. And today I'd like to introduce you to our Community Education Officer at Tobin Brothers Funeral, who works in the area of loss and grief, in Samantha Rennie. Sam, welcome to So You Want to Be.
Hello, James. Thank you.
So, Sam, many people out in the community, they work in loss and grief today, from schools to municipalities and shire councils to healthcare centres, healthcare hospitals, etc. How did you get into the loss and grief area?
Well, really, like you said, it's in so many areas. And a lot of the time in my work life, I didn't even know I was working in grief and loss. I was an art teacher beginning in secondary schools. And little did I know that I was actually working in grief and loss there. And then I was a nurse. And throughout all those years of caring for people who were dying in intensive care, emergency, oncology, I was working in grief and loss, but I didn't really know it until I came and got this job at Tobin Brothers. And it was just by chance that I started to feel dissatisfied with just working with the physical in the hospital setting and knew that there was more, knew that there was some reason people were getting sick. And behind the illness was this whole part of life, their emotions, their thoughts, all the things that led them to being unwell. And when I saw the job at Tobin Brothers, that was the piece that was missing. It was, how are we taking care of people in the emotional way that will keep them well, keep them happy, keep them healthy? And grief just is the fit and the piece that needs to be met in healthcare.
Okay, so you've done all these different roles in the past, arrived at Tobin Brothers several years ago.
Yeah,
You
8 years now.
8 years. So you still enjoy getting out of bed, immersing yourself in loss and grief every day at Tobin Brothers?
I mean, when I say to people, I love grief, it's almost like they can't believe that, But the reality is that it's a privilege to work in grief, because when you work in that part, you're actually seeing the whole person.
So you want to work in loss and grief like Sam does each and every day. Well, get on social now, give us your questions. Sam's standing by, and over the coming weeks, we'll answer them all for you. Remember, there's no silly question. There is no silly question when it comes to loss and grief. Sam will do her best to answer your questions. And if you want to work in the whole loss and grief area, no matter whether it's in the funeral industry or another area, we'll do our best to help answer those questions. So You Want to Be.